What's up, everybody? It's Dr. Mobius again. We're back with another Schedule 1 build. This time, we're back at the barn, and the reason is, in my last video, there was one thing that wasn't fully automated, and that was restocking the mess supplies. You had to do it yourself. Also, in my docks warehouse build, it also wasn't 100% fully automated because you had to load the gasoline into the cauldrons yourself. So this time, I want a 100% fully automated build in the barn. Every single aspect is going to be automated. You won't have to restock anything yourself. The handlers will take care of it all. And this time we're doing a mix of OG Kush with 8 ingredient mixes and cocaine with 8 ingredient mixes. Both of them are going to have the effects of cyclopean, zombifying, and shrinking. Those are the top 3 highest multipliers when it comes to mixes. However, the overall price is not going to be $9.99 when you multiply it by 1.4. They're both going to be somewhat in the middle. And that's going to help because with the super expensive cocaine, even the highest end customers would only order 1, maybe sometimes 2 if they're in a really good mood. But in this situation, by it being just a little bit less, we're going to be looking around the $700 range for the cocaine. They're more likely to get even more product for more money. They'll spend more because it won't put them over the top of their daily budget so fast. Also in this build, I am completely optimizing it. One thing I noticed in my previous build, the thing that takes the longest is them walking from the door to the mixers, or walking from the door to chemistry stations, or from the door to the cauldrons. It's that back and forth walking that ends up eating so much of their time up. So I'm moving everything close to the doors so that they go straight in. They're right at the stations. So this is a ultra optimized mix. Everything is automated. Let's jump into it. All right, we're outside of the barn right now. For this build, we are going to have a cleaner. I haven't had cleaners in my last builds, and I am getting so tired of dealing with all the trash. So we actually have a cleaner in this build. So there's going to be 1 cleaner, 3 chemists, 2 handlers, and 4 botanists. So those are the employees that you need. I'm going to start straight away with the beds. I'm also doing something a little bit differently. Instead of going through and building it with you, I'm going to assume you know how to put down pots. You know how to build. So I'm just going to show you the order that you need to build everything in, and I'll walk you through the setup, but I'm going to assume you know how to put things down. So starting with the bed setup, we've got the 4 botanist beds up here on top. You can see the heads are up against this wall, and then I've snuck a shelf in here. I just like extra shelves wherever I can stick them. But there's their 4 beds. Then you've got the 3 chemist beds right here. Here's the 2 handler beds. And then that's all the beds you need to put down for now, because the other 2 beds, we want to put down some other stuff first. But I'll show you. They're going to go down here, but I'll show you how to get those in the exact right position. So first, just put these upstairs beds down. And then the first thing we're going to start with is the pots. In this back corner, there's the staircase. In this back corner, we're going to do a row of 6 pots. So right up against the wall in the corner, as much as you can get it, just put a row of 6 pots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, straight on back. And then come over to this other side. You can see the beam. We're just going right up against the wall on the inside of these beams on both sides. And then do your other 6 row of pots. Go ahead and throw up the hanging racks and the full spectrum lights above those 2 rows of pots. And we're going to mirror that on the other side. So start in this back corner, row of 6 pots. And exactly the same, right next to the pillar on this one, a row of 6 pots. And then throw up the hanging racks and the full spectrum lights. And then straight down the middle, now that you've got those set up, directly in the middle, do 2 hanging racks, then a trash can, and then the other 2 hanging racks. 2, trash can, 2. And it's mirrored on the other side. 2 racks, trash can, 2 racks. And once you have that all done, we're putting our supply source shelves. You'll see that these hanging racks, they end up being 2 cubits wide or 2 squares wide. So when you drop your supply shelf, you put it towards the back side of the hanging rack. It'll snap into place on the back side of the back half. And that's the same with all 4 of them. You just put it to the back side of the hanging rack. You put 1 shelf for each of these rows. That is the grow setup complete. We've got supply shelves, we've got the pots, the hanging racks, the full spectrum lights, and the drying racks. Now from there, we'll come over to this side of the room. Underneath this second window, you're going to line it up perfectly in the middle, and you're going to drop a shelf, and there is 16 shelves in one big row. These are going to be our 8 ingredient mix supply shelves, and the way I like to do it is to have 1 shelf and then a backup of that same ingredient. So it goes first ingredient, backup, second ingredient, backup, third ingredient, backup, fourth ingredient, backup, fifth ingredient, backup, so on and so forth. 16 shelves total. Once you have all those shelves slapped into place, we'll come up here to the entrance door. This is where you're going to put your 2 cauldrons and your 2 ovens. So the 2 ovens, they fit right in between these 2 pillars. So just stick them up against the wall with the arrow facing you. Slap those 2 ovens down, then turn around. And I'll line up here with the pillar view so you can see that it's on the inside of the pillar. And it is not crossing the pillar from this view either. So it's just perfectly kitty corner to the pillars, and the 2 of them fit snugly in between. So slap those 2 cauldrons down. Next, we'll do the row of mixers. Now, it isn't just a straight row of 8. There is a gap in between them. You can't fit in between this gap, but the employees can, and that's the important thing. We want the employees to be able to squeeze between them because it makes them faster. But as far as the layout goes, they're just aligned behind this center window. As you can see, they both fit perfectly under it. So just get up on this side of it and slap the first mixer down facing you when you're standing this way. Second mixer, space, another mixer, and then come around the back of it. Mixer, mixer, space, mixer, mixer. And those are the 8 mixers. The brick press that we'll be using, just slap it up against this pole. Behind the brick press are 2 shelves. These are going to be the destination shelves. Put a trash can right here. 2 more shelves up against this wall. One of these is a supply shelf if you're doing bags or jars. I'm going to be doing jars for the weed, so I have jars here. The other supply shelf is where we'll have gasoline for the cauldrons. So 2 shelves here. And then right here is a packaging station. I like to package up the weed, so I have jars in that, and then a packaging station for the jars. Now, if you only want to do the brick press, you don't need this, but I find it helpful to be able to have at least 1 packaging station so that you can do jars or bags. Now, with all of that placed, you can have the positioning now for the last 2 beds. It goes straight up against these hanging racks and back into that corner, and that's going to be the cleaner's bed. Your bed is right beside that, the opposite direction. And then there are 6 shelves here. The first shelf is your dumping shelf. Then there's a spare shelf for Coca seeds, a spare shelf for OG Kush seeds, a spare shelf for PGR or fertilizer, another shelf, PGR or fertilizer, and then the soil. So that is all the layout of the barn. Next, I'll go into the assignments for all of the pots and all of the automations. So let's jump straight into that. So first off, we can select all of the pots here on this side of the room. These are all going to be our OG Kush pots. So hold down Shift and select all 12 of these pots. You can see down on the clipboard it says 12x pots, so we know we have it done right. So just hit E. All of these are going to be OG Kush. Additive 1 is fertilizer. Additive 2, PGR. And then hit Escape. Scroll off the clipboard and back onto it, and then we're going to select all of the drying racks. So hold down Shift and select all 4 drying racks. Hit E to manage them. You're going to make their target quality heavenly. And select their destination. And the destination is going to be this first mixing bench, or mixing station. So all of those weed drying racks go to mixing station 1. All right, scroll back off of the clipboard again. These last 3 on the left side, we're going to select them. 1, 2, 3, hit E. Set their destination to the last drying rack. Scroll off the clipboard and then back onto it. Hold Shift and select the next 3. Hit E to bring up the properties. Destination is going to be the second to last shelf, or second to last drying rack. Escape. Scroll off the clipboard and then back onto it. Back on this other side. Hold down Shift and select 3 pots. E to manage. Destination is this third drying rack. Escape, scroll off, scroll back on. Last 3 pots. E to manage, destination, last drying rack. Now those are all set. We'll go do the Coca side. So we'll start off by selecting all of the pots on this side. So hold down Shift until you have all 12 of these selected. E to manage. These are all going to be coca seeds, fertilizer, PGR, and then hit escape. Scroll off the clipboard and back on. Well, now we'll select the drying racks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heavenly quality. We will not be doing the destination yet because they're going to go to separate places. So just hit escape. Scroll off. Scroll back on. Start in this far back corner here. We're going to select the first 3 pots. E to manage. Destination. First drying rack. Scroll off the clipboard and back on. Select. Hold down Shift to select the next 3. Destination. Second drying rack. Hit escape. Scroll off the clipboard. Scroll back on. Other side. Back 3. E to manage. Third drying rack. Escape. Scroll off the clipboard. Scroll back on. Select the last 3 pots. E to manage. Destination. The last drying rack. Hit escape. Those are all done. Now we do the 2 drying racks. So select the back 2 drying racks. Hit E to manage. Destination. And it's going to go to the left cauldron. Well, right if we're on this, looking at it from this one. The one that's closest to the wall. How about that? And then hold down Shift and do the next 2 drying racks. Hit E to manage, and their destination will go to the cauldron that is not against the wall. Now, since we're over here, we'll just scroll off the clipboard and back on. We'll manage this cauldron and set its destination to the oven straight across from it. Hit escape, scroll off, back on, manage the cauldron next to it. Oven straight across from it. Scroll off and back on. Hold Shift, select both ovens. Hit E to manage, and those destinations will go to mixing station 1, which is this one. So now both of the loops are complete. They are both ending at mixing station 1. So let's do the mixing stations. E to manage the mixing station, threshold to 10. Destination is the one right next to it. Hit escape. Manage this next one. The threshold 10. Destination, next one in the row. Hit escape. Manage it. Threshold 10. Destination beside it. Hit escape. The next one, threshold 10, destination, the one behind it. Hit escape. Manage that one. Threshold 10. Destination, the one beside it. Hit escape. Threshold 10. Destination, the one beside it. Hit escape. Manage it. Threshold 10. Destination, the one beside it. Hit escape. Manage it. Threshold 10. Destination, the brick press. Hit escape. Manage the brick press. Destination is the shelf right behind it. That's the complete loop. Let's go do the employees. Stop! If this video is helping you, give it a like, please. Consider subscribing, maybe. Back to the video. Okay, we're going to start with the trash guy first, since that's the easiest. Just select all the trash cans in the building. Hold down shift. Boom, there's the first one. Second one. Third one. Hit enter. You can assign the beds yourself. They don't matter all that much. All right, we will do the chemists first. Well, second, after the trash guy. We'll select our first chemist. First chemist is going to do this cauldron, the oven right across from it, and these two mixing stations. The next chemist is going to do the next cauldron, the next oven, and these two mixing stations on the opposite side. Just like that. And the last chemist is going to do the 4 mixing stations against this wall. And again, we can't walk through this little gap, but they can. So they will just be going around in a circle. Nice and quick. And now we'll take a botanist, supply shelf. Now the supply shelves are just at the end of the row of the pots they're going to be assigned to. For the drying racks, we're going to select the back 2 drying racks first, and then turn around, still holding shift, and select the 6 pots. And then hit enter. And that's what it should look like. Drying racks and then pots. We'll go grab another botanist. Select his supply rack. This next one. And then drying racks, hold down shift. Next 2 of them. And then keep holding down shift and select all the pots. Hit enter. Should look like that. And it's the same for the Coca side. Assign the supply rack. And then we're going to start with the back 2 drying racks. And 6 pots. Supply shelf at the end, and then the first 2 drying racks and 6 pots. All right, that's all the botanists. Now we'll do the handlers. So the first handler is going to do the first 4 ingredients. But keep in mind, there's 2 shelves for an ingredient. So the first ingredient will be the first shelf. And that will go to mixing station 1, which is this one. But now you want to skip a shelf. So that was 1 backup. So here's ingredient 2. Second mixer. Now for ingredient 3, 1 skip, 2 skip, 3. 3. Fourth ingredient. 1 skip, 2 skip, 3 skip, 4. This becomes a lot easier once we actually have the ingredients on the shelves. It'll make a lot more sense and it won't look as daunting as this massive row of shelves that you can't label. Once we get ingredients on there, it'll make perfect sense. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now for the last route, select this shelf, which is currently empty, but this is going to be the gasoline shelf. So select that and then select the first cauldron. And that's all of their routes. We'll go grab the second handler. So this guy will be starting on ingredient 5. 1 skip, 2 skip, 3 skip, 4 skip, 5. And this is the 5th station back here on the back wall. Ingredient 6. 1 skip, 2 skip, 3 skip, 4 skip, 5 skip, 6. Number 6. Then should go skip 8, skip 7. 7. And then 8 will be this guy. And 8. And then the gasoline shelf. And the other cauldron. And then we'll also give this person and assign them to the brick press. Okay, well at this point, all of the employees have their assignments. Everything has been automated. I'm just going to go do a quick run to the store to stock the supply shelves. You need 320 of each of the ingredients. The ingredient list for this mix is going to be banana, Coke, gasoline, battery, Coke, iodine, mega bean, and energy drink. I'll go grab those ingredients, stock the shelves, and I'll see you in a second. I'm also going to put in an order for PGR and fertilizer. I'll need 80 each to fill up the shelves. And barn bay 2, so we don't absolutely destroy all the employees. Well, I'll go start the stocking. If this is your first time at the barn, there is a gas station that you can get to at 4 a.m. very easily. You can just drive straight into this parking spot. And when you buy this stuff at the store, it'll load straight into the van. So 320 is for both of the shelves, and it'll fit perfectly in the back of the van. There they are. And I'll fast forward for the rest of this. Okay, so all the stocking is done. This is what it should look like when it's all done. You've got banana and a backup banana, Coke, backup Coke, gasoline, backup gasoline, battery, backup battery, another Coke, backup Coke, iodine, backup iodine, mega bean, backup mega bean, energy drink, backup energy drink. That's the ingredient and how the shelves should look. Also make sure you stock your gasoline shelf over here. And I just got the order from the hardware store in, so we can stock all of the fertilizer and the PGR that I needed to stock. So that's what these two shelves are for. Fertilizer stocked. So we have backup soil, fertilizer, PGR, OG Kush seeds, Coca seeds, and then your personal dumping rack. Now to set up the supply shelves, each of the supply shelves are exactly the same. You have 20 of the soil, 20 fertilizer, 20 PGR, and 20 seeds. So on this side of the barn, they are the OG Kush seeds. And on this side of the barn, it's the exact same setup, except that they are Coca seeds instead. So that covers all of the supply racks. the supply shelves, and it's fully stocked. All right, so at this point, all we need to do is pay the employees and then let them go to work. It's probably going to take 2 days before we get any product to the mixing machines. Now, when we do get the product to the mixing machine, since this is the first time that this mix is going to be created for my game and most likely for yours, you will need to pull out each of the resulting product out of the mixing machine and name it. So what I usually do, since I'm only interested in the last mix, I'll name it like trash 1, trash 2, trash 3, trash 4, trash 5, trash 6, trash 7, and then I'll name the final strain, whatever I'm actually going to be selling. So you have to do that for both the OG Kush that goes through here and the cocaine that goes through here. So the first 2 days, it's pretty much just going to be waiting around, letting them do their thing. And then probably the second or third day, we'll be able to start naming the Kush. So I'm going to cut forward in time until that actually happens. I'll see you there. All right, well, the first batch of 10 has made it past the drying racks over to the mixing station. The chemist started it, but it has stopped because we need to go in and actually name these to progress them. So I'm just going to name it something like Trash 01. Whoa. When employees stop working, you just punch them, save the game, quit, reopen it. All right, here we go. Here is our weed strain. Let's see what name it gives us. Tokyo Ass. Let's find something a little bit better. Dark Balls. Sure, Dark Balls. Dark Balls, we have paranoia, energizing, laxative, balding, bright-eyed, cyclopean, zombifying, and shrinking. Let's see what happens when I smoke some Dark Balls. Laxative, so you're farting. You're dark green. You're just a little guy. So this new blend of weed, the weed is just a side product. It's the main reason that we have this 8 mix was for the Coke. We're just running the OG Kush through it anyway, since it's already there. So it'll be the same mix for both of them. But in my last barn video, the 4 blend weed that I came up with sold for 168. This new blend is 179, so it is more, but the ingredients are cheaper. So it still ends up being a higher profit. But either way, the whole point of this 8 mix setup is for the cocaine. The weed is just a byproduct. We're just throwing it in there on top of it. So still, 179 for some OG Kush. Pretty good. All right, we got Coke cooking. Minute left, and then we'll walk the Coke through the whole process and name the Coke. All right, the first of the Coke mix is done. Just like I did with the OG Kush, I'm just gonna name it, I'll name these ones junk, because it doesn't really matter. We just want to get it all the way through the process, and then the very last one we'll actually name it something, since that's what we'll be keeping. I'm also letting the chemists do all of the mixing, because when the chemists do the mixing, they don't create all of the trash. If I were to do the mix with the Coke cans and the energy drinks, it would make a whole bunch of trash on the ground. And I don't like that. So I'm letting them just do the mix, and I'm just picking it up afterwards. If you want to make it go faster, you can do it yourself. You'll just have trash on the ground. I mean, not a huge deal. Oh, well, poop, whatever. I was trying to hit shift and hit enter, so one of them is actually named something. Not the end of the world. I've already got 2 bricks of dark balls. Dark balls. Dark balls.
We got the dark balls.
Gotta love those dark balls. Curfew time. It's time to sleep. Cocaine over there. Cocaine over there. Which one's waiting for me? This one? This one? This one? This one? Where'd it go? My cocaine disappeared. I think the last one I did was 5. So it should be... I guess it's this one? Did it just disappear on me? Did somebody steal it? What the hell? Did somebody steal my Coke? None of these are telling me what it's mixing. It's gotta be this one. There it is. So that's 5, 6. Got me all worried. I thought somebody stole my Coke.
If one of you motherfuckers steals my Coke, I'm gonna beat some ass.
All right, here we go. Giving me the side eye. This is what we've been waiting for. The optimized Coke recipe. Not too expensive, definitely not cheap. Shrinking, zombifying, cyclopean. Tokyo Dick. We'll go with Tokyo Dick. I'll take that. Let's go try out this Tokyo Dick. Woo, we are fast. We are fast and gassy. Fast and gassy. Okay, well, aside from all the farting, that's pretty much perfect. So we ended up with the cocaine mix with a suggested price of $5.52, which means after we multiply it by 1.4 to get the absolute maximum that we can out of the customers without them getting too pissed off, that'll put us at $7.72 for this blend. Now, personally, I think this is a lot better. The previous video that I did down at the Docks Warehouse, we had the like maxed out cocaine, which would sell for $9.99. That's great to have a product that you can max out. But what I found, again, this is all about complete optimization. And what I found is the high-end clients, they only order once per day, most of the time. And with it being at $9.99, they'd offer $1,200 for it, but they'd only order that one of them for $1,200. One time ever, I had the Herbert guy order 2 of them, but with it being at 700, that means 2 of them is going to put it closer to 1500. So we'll be pushing up even higher. We'll get more money out of them daily by having the product just down a little bit, like down towards this 772 level. I might even sell it for 750 just to make it easy. But you'll get more out of the customers every day as opposed to having the maximum when they're only just going to buy 1 a day. How I came up with this recipe is I went to the reverse calculator, and for the cocaine I said what is the cheapest way to get shrinking, zombifying, and cyclopean, and that's the mix that it came up with. And then we just ended up using that same mix on the OG Kush. But otherwise, they're both cyclopean, zombifying, and shrinking. And those are the 3 highest multipliers for the product in the game. So that's the entire build, super optimized. They have very quick walks from the door to each of the machines that they're using. So they're nice and snappy. I think this is my favorite build so far. I'm loving the way that the product turned out. It's the perfect price point. So if you like this, please like the video. If you want to see more from me, give me a subscribe and let me know down in the comments below if you want to see any other mixes or if you have any comments or suggestions. Really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.